Yeah, it's less power, but this hook helps you went out from the.
As the boxing world buzzes with anticipation for the blockbuster showdown between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, insight from respected figures are beginning to shape how fans view the fight. One of the most notable voices is Dmitry Bivol, the reigning light heavyweight champion who has first-hand experience of Alvarez's strengths in the ring. After a recent visit to Crawford's training camp, Bivol walked away convinced that Crawford has the right tools to dethrone the undisputed super middleweight king. During a brief sparring session, Bivol paid particular attention to Crawford's footwork, something he believes is a key to solving the Canelo puzzle. In Bivol's view, Alvarez has consistently struggled against fighters who move well and refuse to stand still in front of him. Crawford, with his razor-sharp ring IQ, ability to adapt, and agility, has the exact attributes needed to exploit that weakness. What makes Bivol's endorsement even more significant is his change of heart. At first, he admitted to being skeptical about Crawford's jump to the 168-pound division, questioning whether moving up 2 full weight classes was a wise decision. The physical challenge of taking on a naturally bigger fighter like Alvarez seemed too risky. But after observing Crawford preparation up close in Riyadh and working alongside him in camp, Bivol's doubts faded. Now, he believes Crawford not only belongs at super middleweight, but also has a genuine chance to pull off one of the sport's most historic upsets. Bivol went further, breaking down what makes Crawford uniquely dangerous for Canelo Alvarez. He highlighted Crawford's rare ability to switch stances seamlessly, his sharp counterpunching, and his habit of constantly shifting angles to create openings. These tools, according to Bivol, are exactly what can disrupt Alvarez's rhythm, a rhythm built on patience, pressure, and the delivery of powerful, single-shot punches. Alvarez, Bivol explained, often loads up on power, expending large bursts of energy while trying to land decisive blows. Against fighters who remain static or predictable, this approach has worked brilliantly. But Crawford's ability to dictate distance, control tempo, and force opponents to reset could blunt that power advantage. Still, Bivol stressed that this fight will be unlike anything Crawford has ever faced. The super middleweight division comes with a different level of power and physicality, and Crawford's ability to adapt to that reality will determine whether his skills can truly carry him 2 divisions up. He warned that unexpected challenges will arise, challenges that even Crawford's sharp mind and adaptability must be ready for. Bivol referenced Alvarez's previous dominant wins over the likes of Jermall Charlo and Callum Smith as reminders of what happens when opponents cannot match his focus or fortitude. Yet in Crawford, Bivol sees a fighter cut from a different cloth, unyielding in mental resolve, disciplined in execution, and fueled by a desire to etch his name alongside the all-time greats. For Bivol, it's this combination of intelligence, movement, and willpower that gives Crawford a legitimate chance to trouble Alvarez, even at 168 pounds. Adding to the conversation, rising welterweight star Jaron "Boots" Ennis, who recently spent time training with Canelo Alvarez, offered a perspective that leaned more toward the Mexican champion. Ennis acknowledged Crawford's brilliance but emphasized that experience and physicality at super middleweight cannot be overlooked. He suggested that Crawford might benefit from taking a tune-up fight at 160 pounds first, allowing him to adjust gradually to bigger, stronger opponents before leaping straight into a showdown with Alvarez. According to Ennis, size adjustments take time, and skipping that process leaves Crawford with little margin for error. Ennis pointed out that Alvarez has consistently faced and beaten naturally larger fighters, many of whom rehydrated close to 200 pounds on fight night. Canelo's ability to carry his power and maintain effectiveness at higher weight classes, Ennis argued, is a testament to his strength and ring intelligence. He also pushed back on the narrative of Crawford being untouchable, drawing comparison with Floyd Mayweather. Whereas Mayweather built his reputation on near-flawless defense and rarely absorbing clean shots, Crawford, Ennis noted, has been tagged by opponents of lesser pedigree. The question, then, is how Crawford will react when confronted with the concussive power of Alvarez. Despite these concerns, Ennis admitted the matchup is compelling precisely because of its unpredictability. He praised Crawford's unique skill set but leaned toward Alvarez, citing his proven mastery at 168 pounds, his disciplined, power-based style, and the cultural contrast between his straightforward pressure fighting and Crawford's flashier, rhythm-driven approach. Former world champion Jeff Horn, who was stopped by Crawford in 2018, added another layer of insight. Drawing on his own experience in the ring with Bud, Horn framed the fight as a clash that could play out in two distinct ways. On one hand, Alvarez could assert his size advantage early, using physicality and pressure to bully Crawford before the smaller man has time to adapt. On the other, if Crawford withstands that early storm, his speed, technical craft, and ability to adjust on the fly could gradually shift momentum in his favor. Horn, having felt Crawford's precision firsthand, warned that Alvarez would need to stay disciplined throughout the fight, as Crawford thrives on finding openings once opponents slow down. Together, the perspectives of Ennis and Horn highlight the razor-thin line this fight walks between brilliance and danger. While Alvarez's size and experience at super middleweight make him the logical favorite for many, Crawford's adaptability and will to challenge the odds ensure that the fight remains one of the most intriguing showdowns in modern boxing. On the other hand, Jeff Horn sees a path for Terence Crawford to outsmart Canelo Alvarez if he can withstand the Mexican champion's early pressure. Crawford's patience, precision, and ring IQ could allow him to exploit openings as Alvarez tires in the later rounds. Horn highlighted Crawford's accuracy and timing as potential game changers, noting that if Crawford weathers the early storm, he could pick apart Alvarez and possibly secure a late stoppage. His analysis reflects the polarized outcomes many envision for this fight. Either Alvarez's power proves overwhelming, or Crawford's skill and intelligence gradually turn the tide. Boxing analyst Dan Raphael added nuance to the debate by emphasizing that the size difference between Crawford and Alvarez is often misunderstood. While the two may appear similar in physical stature, Raphael argued the real question is who has absorbed the bigger shots in the super middleweight division. Alvarez's extensive experience at 168 pounds, where he has faced and defeated larger opponents, gives him a clear edge in handling the division's physical demands. For Crawford, moving up in weight means adapting to a new level of power and pressure that could test him in ways he has never faced before. Oscar de la Hoya, a longtime critic of Alvarez, further fueled the discussion by questioning whether Canelo is past his prime. At 35, Alvarez may be showing signs of decline, according to de la Hoya, who cited his lackluster performance against William Skull as evidence of fading legs and rhythm. He compared Alvarez's current form to Julio Cesar Chavez at a similar age, suggesting that the era of dominance may be waning. Still, de la Hoya acknowledged Crawford's versatility and adaptability, while raising doubts about whether Crawford has a punching power to keep Alvarez honest over 12 rounds. For his part, Crawford has embraced the challenge with boldness. At a recent press conference, the Omaha native dismissed concerns about size and declared that he intends not just to defeat Alvarez but to dismantle everything he has built. With the confidence of a four-weight world champion, Crawford promised a performance that would leave his detractors in tears. To him, this fight is an opportunity to cement his legacy as a defining fighter of his generation by conquering one of boxing's most established global stars. The contrasting perspective from Bivol, Ennis, Horn, Raphael, and de la Hoya highlight just how multifaceted this matchup is. Dmitry Bivol sees Crawford's movement and ring intelligence as keys to neutralizing Alvarez. Jaron Ennis emphasizes Alvarez's size, experience, and power at 168 pounds. Horn envisions two extreme outcomes. Either Alvarez overwhelms early, or Crawford outsmarts late. Raphael underscores the importance of experience absorbing punishment at super middleweight. And de la Hoya raises a question of Alvarez's longevity. Beyond analysis, the fight has become a clash of styles and mentalities. Crawford's cerebral, multifaceted boxing will test Alvarez's calculated aggression and heavy-handed pressure. Both men are prepared rigorously, Crawford by sparring top-tier fighters like Bivol, honing his counterpunching and switch-hitting, Alvarez by sharpening his approach with partners like Ennis, focusing on maximizing his physical advantages. The stakes extend far beyond titles. For Crawford, victory would solidify his place among boxing's all-time greats, proving he can conquer a naturally bigger, more experienced champion. For Alvarez, winning would reinforce his reign at super middleweight and silence critics questioning his decline. The September 13th showdown is more than a fight. It is a collision of eras, styles, and ambitions, a test of skill versus size, adaptability versus experience. And as the boxing world waits with bated breath, one question lingers above all. Can Terence Crawford's precision and intelligence overcome the might of Canelo Alvarez? Or will the super middleweight king once again prove too formidable? The answer will be written in the ring, where legacies are forged and debates are finally settled.